Hello again, everyone. This is Larry the Best, and reminding you what you feel, you attract, what you imagine, you become, what you say, you see, and what you hear influences the results you produce in your world. Period. That's what it all boils down to. Control what you say, control what you hear, control what you think, control what you imagine, control who and what you expose yourself to, and you got it made. That is what it boils down to. You know, in Genesis chapter 1 and verse 26, we are told, then God said, let us make man in our image, in our likeness, and let them rule over the fish of the sea and the birds of the air, over the livestock, over all the earth, and over all the creatures that move along the ground. What, in your opinion, does that verse mean? What have you been given dominion over? Think about it. Meditate on it. See if you can come up with what the birds of the air, what the fish of the sea, the birds of the air, the livestock, everything, all the creatures that move on the ground. See if you can find out what they all have in common. Because once you can identify what they all have in common, then you have a clear idea of what you have been given dominion over. And it will be easier for you to exercise that dominion. So now, let's get back. My son, pay attention to what I say. What I say. It is very crucial. Because if somebody is trying to get my attention to do something, I want to know who that person is. Who are you? What are your credentials to make me want to listen, to make me want to pay attention to what you have to say? Now, let me tell you this. Your credentials have everything to do with the level and the quality of attention I am going to pay to what you are saying. Which is why I am trying to get you and I to identify who is this I that is talking here, and what are the words that we are supposed to listen to. Now, on a superficial basis, if I were to say who is this I, everybody's going to say, oh yeah, it's King Solomon in the book of Proverbs. Yes, of course, I understand it's King Solomon. But you know what? That's not what I'm talking about. Because obviously you and I have known it's King Solomon for a while, and we have King Solomon's credentials. Well, pretty much, we haven't paid as much attention to it as we should. Later on, actually not later on, I'm going to tell you right now. I'm not, this is one of those things, I am not going to explain it to you. You are going to have to figure this out on your own. Now, I am willing to discuss this with you if you have done, or if you do some of your homework. But if you just expect me to explain what I am getting ready to say to you, it is not going to happen, simply because it's not going to do you any good. I want to help you. I want you to do your homework. I want you to become fully persuaded. During the last week when Tim and I were talking about confidence. And I said something, I made a reference to a quote by Miller Bennett. If a man will move the world, he must first move himself. You've got to become fully persuaded in what you understand, in what you believe, because that's the only time it's going to make a difference in your life. So, my son, pay attention to what I say. The I, see, we can go different ways, different routes in this. But you know that I there is making Genesis, is making reference to the I of Genesis chapter 1, verse number 1. But it's also making I to you. Because Genesis chapter 1 tells us that in the beginning God created the heavens and the earth. So we know from that verse that God is a creator. And he created the heavens and the earth based on the words that came out of his mouth, based on his imagination, based on his emotions, and based on what he was paying attention to. In Genesis 1:26, we are told that you and I are created in the image and likeness of God. So guess what? You yourself are creator. You are God in your world. You are God in your life. The words that proceed out of your mouth are the words that create your world. So when I tell you right here, pay attention to what I say. It's not necessarily some word coming from what somebody else is saying, but pay attention to what the I of you. You know, there are many I's that live in you. There is the one and only true I, and the I that you and I have made up. And a lot of times we pay attention to the I's that we have made up instead of paying attention to the one and only true I. So I know right here, I told you I was going to say this and I'm not going to explain it. I hope you got it. If you got it, great. If you don't have it yet, now you got some work to do, and I'll talk to you soon. Ciao.